Caminaba en la calle vieja, donde vende su vida entera, por placeres y lujos que no les llenan ni la cartera. ¿Dónde están los estudios de año?
All right, that's the person that you heard in the intro. That's Carlos Santiago with his new single called Futuro Incierto. He'll be my guest for today. Great friend of mine. Carlos, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Pablo. And I really appreciate it. Thanks for the invitation.
That's no problem, man. So this is the episode number 76 from the PJAlphaMusic podcast. Make sure that if you're listening to us on Facebook, YouTube, make sure that you like and subscribe. And you are doing this in the Anchor.fm. That's my podcast station. Make sure that you share with your friends. We're going to go right into it. We're not going to waste a lot of time. There's a lot of things that we need to talk about. And Carlos is here to just give everything that has to do with his new single. Okay. Now, Carlos Santiago, I know that you are, am I wrong on this? You are a solo guitar player, songwriter, and composer, right? And yeah, and you worked in a couple bands or a couple projects in the past. Let me just see right here. Is you work with Amore at Luna, right?
That is correct.
And No Partner Left Behind.
That is correct too.
And you're originally from Puerto Rico, right? Of course, you're my friends.
Yeah.
Currently from Puerto Rico, from the island, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. Now you're currently living in Florida, and of course you're now the, let's call it the, I don't want to say the founder, but you know, the composer of Futuro Incierto. That's right.
That is correct.
Okay, so tell us a little bit of yourself. What happened? How you went from down to in the island all the way back here to the States?
Well, that definitely is a long story, and most of it, you know. I mean, when I was in the Inter-American University in Puerto Rico, there was a lot of situations and stuff over there, and so pretty much the job situation have the decision over for myself to move down to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was back when that was 2000, I say what, 2012, 13, yeah.
Yes, in 2013 was when I officially moved down here to the U.S.
Yeah, and that was back when I was in Milwaukee. Remember, Wisconsin?
Yeah, I remember that.
Right now, I'm living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's crazy.
It is. I mean, because every time that we used to talk, I mean, you were living like in a different state.
That's correct. I lived in Wisconsin first, then I moved down to Wyoming. From Wyoming, I moved down to New York. From New York, I just moved around a little bit in Jersey, Connecticut, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts, just in that area. And then I went back to Wisconsin. It's like a cycle, man.
Yeah, you should have visited Florida.
You know that my woman is always telling me that, oh, we should just go down to Florida. I'm like, I'm okay. I already handled a couple of years in Puerto Rico. I think I'll be fine with that. I know you're mad, but it's fine. So, Carlo, I met Carlo the first time. It was what, like 2009, I would say, 2008. Back when I was doing my bachelor degrees in Puerto Rico.
I would say so.
You want to tell them that story when we met for the first time?
Oh, but I'm trying to remember when was that. I think it was in the pianos, was it?
I don't know. At first, if I remember correctly, I remember seeing you in the library when I was in college. And you used to have like a hat.
Always.
Yeah, always. So I remember seeing him, and I'm like, who's this guy, man? Well, he's always carrying a guitar with the hat. And, and one time, I'm in the piano rooms practicing. I was playing Zelda, right? And all of a sudden, that same guy was the one that knocked the door. And he's like, hey, you playing Zelda?
Yep, that was me. And I remember that I told you gotta play some Final Fantasy.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I never did, right? I never played Final Fantasy.
No, you never did. You still owe me.
That is true. Back then, there was a lot of people trying to play video games, music, and that's interesting because that's the golden age of video games and classical music, right?
It
Uh,
was.
yeah, so there was a lot of people trying to bring the video games, songs, stuff like that, but played in a classical manner. And back then, that was like the golden age, right? The way that you just put yourself out there. Remember, back then, social media was a thing, but was not as big, right? So you have
No.
Facebook, you have YouTube was on, but it was very early.
Well,
MySpace, remember?
for that time was MySpace.
Yeah, it
And
was MySpace. Yeah,
and what was the name of that thing? Hotmail or Messenger or something?
Messenger. Wow, bro, Messenger. So that was back then, right? So you had the Messenger, the MySpace, and if you play a little bit of Zelda, a little bit of Final Fantasy, people will be like, "Oh my God, he's the Zelda guy, or he's the Final Fantasy guy."
Yeah.
So, Carlo, let's talk a little bit more about your project, okay? In a couple days, you just released your first single
Yeah.
called Futuro Incierto. Can you want me to give you my opinion, what I think when I hear it, or you want to just jump in and just explain what Futuro Incierto is all about?
Oh, I would love to hear your opinion.
Oh, okay. Futuro Incierto, every time that I hear it, is interesting because the picture of the video, you walking down Sareman. You didn't record anything in San Juan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you did San Juan. So it gave me this picture of a musician just walking along towards somewhere, like a goal, right? But you don't know, you're just shooting. You're just walking, and just interesting because you are alone. You don't have nobody. You're alone. Why are you alone in those videos? In that
Well,
video specifically.
specifically in that video, it's
Mm.
because of the pretty much the history you're pretty much saying. I mean, it's about tells tells kind of that story on those golden age when we used to live in San Germán, like from 2008 to 2013.
Mm.
Like pretty much you can walk from one place to another, trying to
Yeah.
find your goals or something, but doesn't matter how many. I mean, pretty much how many you do or how many things you have in mind. You always have an uncertain future.
Yes. Yeah. And the pictures and qualities are great. I mean, I have to give you props for the fact that you have great quantity and quality at the same time. Like the song itself is what, like 3 minutes, I think it is.
Yes, 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Not
That
very
is great amount, good to to smack and then swallow. But it's good with the picture, the way you did the videos and everything. Man, it's good. Why um why in the capilla? For those people doesn't know what is a capilla, capilla is like an old church that we have in San Germán. It's beautiful, but I noticed that you recorded
in
a
the
couple times
Porta.
in the Portacelli. Portacelli,
Uh,
right? Yeah, na capilla,
yeah.
Portacelli. Yeah.
That was actually some an improvised scene of the
Mm.
video. I mean, it was not supposed to be like that. And I mean, I do have to thank the camera guys that were recording with me. You also know that Jean Pierre
Jumpy.
and Luis. Yeah,
Shout out to
and
Jumpy and Lewis. They, man, good friend back from back in the day.
yeah, they were working with me on the video, and also Luis was working also with the song, mixing the song and doing that kind of studio work.
Mm.
But yeah, that those kind of scenes were kind of like I had something in my mind, and then Jean Pierre was like, I think we should better maybe try to do something like this, and it was like
Mm.
on the moment, and it just came out like that.
But I mean, I don't know what you guys just planned, but that was good. That was good. I'm still listening to it. Um, the fact that you managed to just pull this thing through, right? You lived in Florida, you went down to Puerto Rico, you did what you needed to do. Um, how do you find the time, right, to just try to put this this project together? I know you're working as a full time as well, but somehow you just got yourself together and put it out. Uh, what was your mindset behind it?
Well, this is something that I don't want to call it like new. Well, it is new, but back in 2011, I would say I have this idea, and we were like we went to a studio, and I mean I was working on the time with somebody else, and so I was gonna compose some rhythmics and some rhythm style for something kind of like Spanish. I mean, it was going to be in Spanish. But then we had a problem, and the guy erased the song from the studio, so that never came out.
Golly, yeah.
And yeah, that was like totally bad. So we just forget about it. Then
Okay.
back in 2000, I would say 2019 or something, I was having a jamming section with my neighbor, and I just pulled out one of those original song that I wanted to compose for that other project. He was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Well, what's that?" And I said, "Well, that was one of the songs that I wanted to record for something that I was thinking to do in Spanish." He was like, "Well, why don't you, you know, why don't you do it again?" And in that same week, I got myself so motivated. I mean, I composed Futuro Incierto in that same week, and I mean, keep composing it and trying to find the time to do this, and eventually, like something that started like from a little jamming, then it just already turns into this.
Yeah. Nice job, man. The fact that you know what I do in my podcast and my YouTube channel is more like I do music, but also I try to do more self development, self help stuff. Uh, can you talk a little bit more about what was going on with you when you were trying to put this together? What were the obstacles that were confronted, and you somehow you managed to just go through them and just leave them alone, and you just focus on your goal, and you managed to just win the let's see those small battles.
Well, the small battles, the first one, I did have some disagreements on the recording studio that I was
Mm-hmm.
doing the song, so that was the first thing that I had to take care about. So I had to
Yeah.
send the song from one studio to another, and then from that other studio to because I mean there's a lot of great musicians around here, but like for example, there's a different of music style.
Yeah.
So when the people are trying to work with you and they don't recognize the style, they do what they think they should, but not all the time is good.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one of the little problems that I have.
Yeah.
And at the end, I mean, it just came to the right place. Also, the situation with the COVID, that was one step that it pushed my project like behind like pretty badly.
Very
Like
badly, right?
yeah, like every time that I was ready to go to the recording studio to try to finish one of the songs or something happened. I mean, it was either the quarantine or I mean, there was always a situation.
Mm-hmm.
But then like I just decided like now is the time, and I just went through.
Yeah, nice, nice, nice. And then that's when you went down to Puerto Rico. You did your all the recording. Man, how many recordings you did? How many video
Um,
recordings?
Sorry. We did we record two videos. So I have
Mm.
another song that will be out soon. So
Mm.
we did two videos in 3 days.
Mm. Okay. Now let me ask you, Carlos. You used to play classical guitar back then. Do you still play classical guitar in your spare time, or you just put it in the side?
For now, unfortunately, I have it a little bit on the side. But every time that I remember and I just like to play, I just pull my books and on all the Carcassia studios and
Mm.
those beautiful pieces that I used to like playing back in the days,
Mm-hmm.
and I still enjoy playing some of them.
Mm.
I would like to have more time to actually be
Yeah.
in, you know.
Yeah, well, you're a busy man. I understand that, man. Hey, responsibility comes in, and we have to just take action on that.
Yeah.
And especially for people that don't know, right? When you do creative stuff, right, regarding videos, music, you need time to do those things, right? You need like a spare time. For example, I play piano. I still have to do my scales. I still have to do my repertoire. I still have to do a lot of things, right? So I do understand where he's coming from. It's not something that people talk about the end result, but they don't want to talk about the process it took just to finish that result. Okay, and I can imagine it's not how people present it. Like something so easy, you just go to a studio, all of a sudden, you know, ideas and angels start coming in and they start helping you. It's not like that, right? Sometimes that you have to be very proactive and you have to take care of business for the reason that it's just the nature of the business. And he said himself, like when he went to a couple studio, he was like, "Hey, it's not what I like." And I can imagine that the guy that managed studios, ego coming in and saying like, "Whoa, I'm the one that handled the studio. You don't know stuff." Okay.
I did have one time this situation when I brought somebody to record an instrument, and then the guy literally forgot what he was gonna play, so he started improvising, and that was frustrating because the guy in the studio was like, "No, you're not letting the guy play. I mean, what he feels." And I was like, "Well, he's not here to play what he feels. He's here to play what he was supposed to play."
Oh, so he was improvising in your song.
Exactly, because he forgot the line that he was supposed to play.
And I imagine you pay some money.
Oh, definitely. No,
Yeah.
nobody does this stuff for free. Not anymore.
No, not anymore. That's true. Isn't it interesting that, and I had that. This is not only for. Let me just put this as a paraphrase. This is not only for pop music or Latin rock. None of that stuff. Because I used to do the same thing with classical musicians. Man, it will be like. It will be hard to even get them together. Very hard. Because the thing about the classical musician is that they're good players, but they're not players for albums and projects. They don't feel comfortable. Or you give them the idea, they don't want to do it, right? So you have to just go around and just figure out stuff to just make this thing happen. I make two classical music album, right? The one was with a violinist, and great guy. The other one was with another pianist, great guy as well. But outside of that, my goodness, Lord, just to look for time to just sit down, have some recordings. Like there's always a problem, and this is where you come in and say, you know what? Let me just go solo. Let me just step back a little bit. Let me start doing my own thing, right? Let me just take it from there. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Why you decide to just go solo and say, you know what? I'm gonna do this on my own.
Pretty much the same reason that you just say now. Because I mean, there was always a problem. I mean, I was trying to make a band, trying to get musicians, put musicians together. I mean, not everybody shows up in time. Not everybody shows like would prepare for the songs and stuff. And then I just came out to my mind. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do my own music, and I'm just gonna go myself as a solo. And then if I have to find somebody to record something, so I just tell him, hey, I need you to record this, and just bring him to the studio.
I see.
And that was pretty much one of the main reasons I decided to go as a solo.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that you know what's crazy, Carlos?
What?
Is that music is something that is very intimate, right? When you're dealing with this kind of stuff, and I don't think people do understand when you're a composer, right? When you're a composer, it's something that is being transmitted from your brain all the way to your hands, and what could be in the outside, right? You're trying to make that idea that you have in your mind and make it a real thing. And I don't think people understand how hard is that thing to have an idea and make it a thing, right? It's the hardest thing ever, right? So when you sit down, just you sat down, you said, you know what, let me start writing down what I'm supposed to do. Make sure that, we okay with this. Let me just start writing my idea. And then you presented the idea, and then people start, no, you should just use this, you should do that. And all of a sudden, your idea is not yours anymore. It's other people's idea. And the thing is that it's idea from people that, in the first place, they cannot even present their own ideas.
Yeah, that actually happens a lot. I mean, like I say, I mean, if you're gonna go with everybody's idea, then I mean, you will never do a song that please everybody. Because I mean, if you're gonna make a song that everybody likes, you will have to ask like all the people in the universe so they can actually put something on your song so everybody can like it.
So basically, trying to please everybody.
Exactly. So I mean, yeah, but it is like that. But yeah, a lot of people don't understand. I mean, how hard it is, like to build like one little scale, and then like the song starts from zero, and then it turns into something, and it is very hard.
Yeah, it's just one of the having the idea, right? The idea is something that is floating, right? It happens to be that's in your brain that time, but when you have that and you're trying to just put it together, it is tiresome. Right, it is very tiresome. It's not something that is just with ease, right? It requires commitment. More importantly, momentum. Also, you loving the fact that you put that idea outside. That's another thing, right? Because one thing is that if you put an idea outside, then you don't feel like, oh, this was not completely my idea. This might be like half and half of everybody's idea, and then I have a lot of experience with that stuff, like where I have an idea and then I have a lot of people just presenting their ideas like, damn, man.
I think
where's my idea here?
Yeah, I think, and I mean, pretty much everybody. I would just say, if you're happy with the song that you're doing, then that's all that should matter. That you're happy with it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's always going to be different opinions. Somebody's going to say, I should have done that this way or that way.
Now, what do you think about the state, let's call it, of the world? And how do you see the state of the world with your music? Where does your music style fit into the world?
I would say Latin America.
Latin America? No, okay, so let's go with that niche. How your music fit into the world of Latin America?
Well, the way that I compose, I just trying to make people identify to the song, and I have some people that have came to me and say like, you know what, that lyric that you're singing is a true reality, or some of or some people history that actually, living in Puerto Rico, have to move down to the USA, or are going through that same situation. And if people can identify to that is what I'm trying to fit pretty much in all places in Latin America. People to try to identify to what I write.
Okay. Yeah, for people don't know, a lot of people from the island moved to the States because of the economical situation in the island. That began what? That was 2012. That's when things started. Just 2010, 2012, I think.
Things are starting to get very valuable. There was like a time like when a lot of people that we know, I mean, even including us, we're not even living in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a time when a bunch of people just like start moving around.
Like they start left, and you just walk towards Saherman. You'll see, that thing in the desert that you see in the movies, floating around. It looks like that, right? Look that crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I actually know more people now that live down here in the USA than in Puerto Rico.
Isn't that crazy? But you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Let me just if they can bring those skills back to the island, they can just get the skills and move up a little bit. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I hope that's the case, right?
Yeah.
Are we learning how to just handle certain things, we go down to the island. We just give it back to the community. In that way, people don't feel like, oh damn, we kind of far away to just throw that hook. Right? It feels too far to just throw that hook. And we just try to give back to the community.
Yeah.
Now, Carlos, any plans in the future? Are you planning to go to school? How do you see yourself?
Well, I will definitely love to finish my stuff in the music, but right now my future plan is just to keep composing, recording the songs, and just keep releasing them.
Mm-hmm. Are you open to the idea of working with other musicians, or you prefer it to be that way, where what, I feel comfortable here, don't bother me, I'm okay with this?
I mean, I always like to hear other musicians' idea, but pretty much, I mean, I feel comfortable also the way that I'm doing it.
Yeah, and it does feel it does sound comfortable. Yeah, it does sound comfortable, which is more important. It doesn't sound pushed, right? Congruency is very important as an artist, right? You want to speak congruency when you have a music, right? A piece of music. You don't want to sound like you're forcing, let's call the ideas.
Like, for example, with that song Futuro Incierto, doesn't that sound to you to the history of a lot of people that we knew in that time in San Germán?
Yeah, man. Yep. Yeah, and I know when you released the song, like, God damn, man. Like the time.
Do you remember that time? Sorry. Do you remember that time when we were I mean, just randomly, I just told you like, hey, you want to go with me to San Juan? And you were like, yeah, sure.
Wow, yeah, bro.
I mean, we used to do, I mean, random stuff like that. I mean, we just go like from San Juan to San Germán or to Cabo Roma. We used to do a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And the greatest things about all that, I mean, we didn't have a lot, but we did enjoy the moment.
I see why. But you know why we enjoyed a lot? And I think Jordan Peterson, this is a side note, Jordan Peterson talk about this. This is the syndrome of young adults, they still have possibilities. We're still young adults, and we still have possibilities in the world. Therefore, responsibility does not fit too much. Yeah. Because he started with calling. He started having that same conversation, comparing it with the Peter Pan effect, right? You know, Peter Pan, kids that never want to grow up. That's what we got, right? So, when a baby is a baby, he has millions of possibilities. He gets 80 years old, still has possibilities, not as millions. A teenager, the possibilities start shrinking, but he still has a lot. You're still college, you're enjoying your life, you're going crazy. You still now have responsibility, right? But there's still a possibility. Hey, you still has possibility, greater possibility. Now, you're 30 years old, 35 years old. Now you're an adult. What happened with those possibilities? You see?
Yep.
So every time that we just grow up from the last year, right, those possibilities shrink. And it doesn't shrink because you cannot do it. You can do them any time in the year. It's because responsibilities start kicking in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And every time the possibilities start kicking in, it's taking time from those things that you're supposed to just be taking care of, which are the possibilities. Okay.
That is totally correct.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much the time. I mean, in those times, there was time for everything. Mm-hmm. Right now, you gotta look time to do something.
But it is. I think it's because when we have too much time, we think that the life is gonna be like that, like always too much time, right? let me not practice now. I'm always gonna have time. And you know what's crazy? Remember back then the jurados, the juries.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
remember those?
juries. Jurados and juries is just a way to say it was like the last test from your instrument, right? So let's say they give you a repertoire during the year, and you sit down and play that repertoire by the end of the semester. And if you don't, they call it juries because you you do wrong, you know they will slam the
I mean,
hammer, I guess.
that was actually an exciting day because I remember when everybody took their jury, like everybody would have been happy. I passed.
Yeah.
Or I mean, there were also people, and I kind of feel bad for people that they don't pass the jury
Hmm.
and stuff. But I remember those days when we used to say that now it's time to practice. Everybody will go to the room and start practicing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, the good thing, man, those were good times, man. When we were in San we did a lot of things, man. When I go back, I'm like, God damn. I went there a couple of years. I think it was the last year, 2 years ago. I went to San and I just got that breeze, man. From that breeze, from those trees, or mango trees, and I mean everything. And it's like, God damn, this is beautiful, right? This is beautiful.
Yeah,
No wonder it was so comfy. No wonder it was a great place to be,
that was
right?
exactly the same. That was exactly the same way that I feel when I went over there to record the videos and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I just literally look around and I just literally remember a lot of stuff, and it's like, when you see a movie and you see yourself like walking in the past, like through there, and I see a lot of remembers and a lot of memories, and
Hmm.
that was great. I mean, it was fantastic.
Hmm. It's beautiful, and San Germán is a beautiful town,
It
and
is.
it does has a lot of history in it. Like
Yes.
when you go to San Germán downtown, it has a lot of history. Like you can see our, like it looks very Spaniardish, kind of structure. When I went to Italy, I have to tell you, when I went to Italy to Tuscany, right? It reminded me so much about San Germán and Mayagüez because the way it was built, right? It was so much culturally rich. I couldn't even believe it that we had it back in Puerto Rico. So when
Yeah.
you go, you will say,
I mean, that's one of the reasons that I decided to make the video over there, because I say, like, definitely San Germán fits on the video, no, because I mentioned it, but I mean those two places were fantastic. I mean, in here in Florida, there's a city called San Agustin,
mm,
and it's like that. It's like that. Like, I mean, the streets are like that, and it's like, like that Spanish. You have like a little moral.
hmm
Also, it's a very nice place. And
hmm
I was actually in that position that I was. If I don't travel to Puerto Rico to record a video, what I will do my video here in San
oh, that
Agustin,
was a great
Florida.
idea. Great idea. Yeah, great idea. Oh man, my woman, she loves Puerto Rico so much, man. It has me crazy. When we're going to Puerto Rico, I'm like, just hold on for a second. Come on now. I know it's good. I know it feels good. The food is good. The people are good. People are not that bad though. I live in New York. Those are bad people, right? I'm not saying the New Yorkers are bad, but you will find more, unstable behave people there, like very rude people. At least in Puerto Rico, you still have your people, but it's not as bad, right? There's good people down there, especially on the. You have food everywhere, like fruits. You have little stores around where you can just buy pinchos. I mean, it's a great
Yeah.
place to be. Now, it's not the healthiest place to do business. Okay,
No.
it's not the healthiest, but it's a great place to just escape yourself from your routine, right? You want to escape. Go down there. I used to say, you know what's crazy? I used to say, do business like a Midwestern, and do business. Oh no, approach people like a Midwestern, but do business like a New Yorker everywhere you go in the world, right? Don't do
Yeah.
it the other way around. Don't approach people like a New Yorkers and do business like a Midwestern because they're gonna take advantage of you. You have to do the
Yeah.
opposite way.
When I did find so many different stuff when I came down, when I moved for the first time here to Florida.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of things that that you missed, like from Puerto Rico, like those stuff that you were saying, like the little places around the corner that you can eat stuff, and then
La cafeteria.
Yeah.
How do you call the little kiosk that was in the plaza?
Oh, that little place when we used to buy the
Coffee
piña coladas and
coffee sandwiches.
I forgot the name. I forgot the name of that place, but I mean when I went to San Germán a few months ago for recording, I saw that place and I was like, I should buy a piña colada and one of those the bocadillos that we used to buy over there and stuff.
Cheap too, man. Bocadillos were cheap. What, $1.25?
Around there.
Yeah, $1.25. It was a piece of bread with potato cheese, I think they call it, right? Queso melted with coffee, with a little cup of coffee. Oh my goodness, Lord, that was good, man.
Yeah, definitely, that was definitely very good.
But of course, people are moving from the island to the States. Of course, a lot of businesses are closing down because there's no people, to work and stuff like that. I see it as a great opportunity for people, start investing in the island just to make sure we have people learning new skills, right? Skills are important just to contribute to solutions inside the problems, whatever problem it is. You have a problem, you can just solve that. You get some profit in it. Hopefully in the future we can just see a more prosperous, culture in the island. Did you meet anyone that's already heard your song and say, "Hey, Carlos, I just saw your video, man. What's up with this?" Have you met someone that already saw your video and just giving you props live, or you still haven't? You're too much of a musician. You keep yourself in your house.
Like what do you mean? Like some people have calling me and talk to me about the video and stuff like that.
No, not calling, like in person.
Oh yeah. I mean, like pretty much a lot of I mean, yeah. I mean, in my job, a lot of people saw the video over there and they exactly the word was like, where did you came out with this? And there was people over there that didn't even know that I was a musician.
Oh, little mystery cat. That's good.
Yeah.
That's
and
good.
They were like, this is fantastic and stuff like that. And just literally yesterday, my boss was singing the chorus of the song.
No way.
Yeah. And he was like, that part is catchy. Oh, well, that's the idea.
Oh, I see you. So yeah, man, I really wish you the best. I think things are coming along. I know. I don't want to give you too much. Let me just hold you accountable a little bit, right? Because I know greater things can come from you. Right? That's the best way to say. Greatest things can come from you. And it's all on us, right? Or we die with the dreams, or we just let the dreams just keep living and we die, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's important. Carlo, tell them where they can find you.
My music is available in all social media. I mean, they can find me on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. All social medias are available.
Okay, good.
That's where I have my music available.
Okay, that's good. Do you have Instagram with you, or you have Facebook, or they can follow you? Have a website?
Yeah. It's Instagram is C Santiago Latin Rock, same as Facebook.
Yeah. And the Facebook, you don't have that Facebook yet, or only the Instagram?
I do. I have both.
Okay, so we're gonna put them in the description down below, right? Where you guys can go and click it. I'm gonna put them in the PJAlphaMusic YouTube channel and the PJAlpha podcast and the Alco.fm. That way, with any distribution that you like to listen to it, you can just go to the description, just click it, go to his website, support him. He's a great musician, a great artist. This was episode number 76. with my guest Carlos Santiago, a solo guitar player and composer, songwriter. Make sure that you support him. I'm out.
Thank you.
Bye.